here we go, section 9.6. Angles and arcs from tangents, secants, and chords. So, congruent arcs. A little bit of writing to do. In the same circle, whoopsie. Two minor arcs are congruent. If and only if their corresponding chords are congruent. So if you look at this first circle, we have a minor arc right here, and we have a minor arc right here. We know those are equal because of the fact that this chord is 5 and this chord measures 5. So since both chords match, the arcs match. Alright? That's similar over here. We know that these two chords are equal because we know these two arcs are equal. So it goes back and forth. All right, so the measure of an angle formed by two lines that intersect inside, huge, important right there, inside the circle. It's calculated by doing x plus y divided by 2. So x plus y divided by 2 will give you 1. So let's do some examples here. Now the first problem is, our first example doesn't match the formula we just had. So let's go to the second one first. See how they're kind of in a line here? That's fine. So we have our two measures, 40 plus 30, and we're going to divide by 2. 40 plus 30 is 70. 70 divided by 2, x is 35 degrees. Okay? Now, the first one doesn't match up. So there's two ways to do this. You can go ahead and find this measurement by using the rule. These two are in line. So 135 plus 140 divided by 2. And that's 80. Okay, I had it written down for some reason and I just didn't do it. So that would make that angle here, or this angle here, 137.5. These two are supplementary. So if you just did 180 minus 137.5, x equals 42.5. That's one way to go about it. Now another way to go about it, let's just redraw this real quickly. Another way to go about it is to think about the fact that right here we know is a straight line, 180. So if this arc, this measure right here, this angle is 140, then this must be 40. And if this one is 135, this must be 45. And now we can do our rule with 45 plus 40 divided by 2, which again is going to be 42.5. But I just want to show you there's two different ways to look at it. You're going to basically do the same thing. It's just which angles do you want to work with. Okay, what about if they're outside? Now notice we have two different things here. On this one, we have a tangent and a secant. So here's our tangent, and there's our secant. Here we basically have two secants. and here we have two tangents. All right? Either way, they form an angle outside of the circle. So what we're going to do now is x minus y divided by 2. So outside, here's my two angles, 120 minus 40 divided by 2. X equals 40 degrees. 120 minus 40 is 80, divided by 2 is 40. Now, this one requires a little bit extra work. We know this is 120. We know this is 160. Together, that makes 280. There's 360 in a circle. That leaves 80, which tells us that this is 80. And remember, we need these to be in a line. So we can't use 120. That just serves a purpose to help us find 80. Now, we take 160 minus 80 and divide by 2. Now, 160 minus 80 is 80 again, divide by 2, and we get the answer of 40 degrees again. All right, one more example of this. Now this time, this one continues through if you want to think about it that way. But this time we got to work backwards because we know 170 minus x divided by 2 equals 45. So now we just do the algebra and work backwards. We multiply by 2, cancels. 170 minus x equals 90. We subtract 170, and we get negative x. That's very important. Don't forget this negative, because we're going to get a negative number over here. And then we divide by negative 1. X is 80 degrees. One last concept, and we are through. The angle formed by a chord is equal to half the measure of the intercepted arc. So we just take the arc and divide by 2. Now, there's a problem here. This one should be right here. Because look, here's my chord. Here's my tangent. The angle formed is right here. So that was just a misprint. Sorry about that. But I hope you understand why it's there, because that is the angle formed by those two lines, or the line and the line segment. Okay? So, we don't know this intercepted arc. We need to find that. Well, we have 100 and 160. 100 and 160 is 260. Well, there's 360 in a triangle. We subtract, we get 100. So that's the measure of that arc, 100 degrees. All right? So we just take our new formula. There's the intercepted arc. Divide by 2, and angle 1 is equal to 50 degrees. Okay, last but not least, PRT. Well, here's my chord. Here's my tangent. So we're trying to find this angle right here. Well, this angle is going to be half of this intercepted arc. So that makes that 50. I'm going to skip to QRS. QRS is right here. So that's going to be half of this intercepted arc, which we don't have. But we do have this and this, which make 270. Subtract that from 360, and we get 90. Half of that is 45. So we know this is 45. We know this is 50. They form a straight line. 50 plus 45 is 95. Straight line is 180 degrees. Minus 95 is 85. 85 degrees. We will also learn in the next lesson how to find this angle even if we didn't have those two. We'll be doing the scribed angles in 7. There you go.